Hey, Liberty North Psych 2. May the 4th be with you. It's Monday, May 4th, so it's National Star Wars Day. So hope you're having fun celebrating that, as our family does. We celebrate it quite a bit. So so as we start kind of our last week, full week for seniors. So congratulations, seniors. I know it's not the last semester that you had hoped or probably that you had pictured in your mind. But I hope that you find a way to enjoy your last full week of high school and K through 12. So congratulations there. It's just hard to believe that it's already here. And it's just been so weird. But as always, if you need anything, if you have any questions, just email me or contact me. Don't forget that we're going to finish our psych treatment chart today. All right, so then there will be no live streams the rest of the week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be work days for you to work on your final projects and assignments, which are on Canvas. So look under the psych disorder, psych treatment. And then if you notice, everything is due on May 12th, which is the senior's last day. So your final is in there. Everybody will take the final early with the seniors. I'll have that in there. And then the juniors and sophomores will do another fun assignment after the seniors leave. So this will be the last live stream for this week. And then I'll check in with everybody on Monday. No new material at that time, but just kind of go over assignments and so on and so forth. So I hope everybody's doing well. And also in honor of May the 4th, we have 2 special guests today in the live stream. So again, don't pay attention to the national treasure poster back there, but C3PO and R2D2 are joining us today. So let's get going. So if you want to get out your psych disorder chart, or actually your psych treatment chart, okay. So again, I flipped it over. I'm using the other side, but you should have 1, which was medications, 6 different types of medications. 2 was brain stimulation. We had 3 different types of stimulation. And then number 3 is psychosurgery. Okay. So I'll kind of blow it up here. Hold it closer so you can see it. Okay. So psychosurgery, damaging part of the brain to bring healing. And then probe, which is really what it's kind of what we use today because of our advanced technology. All right. And we'll go over a brief history of it. But that's kind of what you need. So number 3 category for biomedical is psychosurgery. Okay, which is commonly referred to today as probe or probing. So again, dating way back to treatments, before 1950, there were several surgery techniques to treat psych disorders. Again, they are last resort because generally what they encompass is trying to identify the part of the brain that's not functioning correctly and then damaging it or separating it from the rest of the brain so that it doesn't impact other structures. So, again, before antipsychotic medications in 1950, really the only way we had to treat psychosis was psychosurgery, which involved frontal lobotomy. So basically cutting and dissecting or separating the frontal lobe from the rest of the brain, certain types of lobotomies, which basically means just basically cutting away or separating the brain. So, that kind of is what we had to work with. And it was kind of a dark time in psych and the medical side of that. And then we developed the antipsychotics, which then made this even more rare, thank goodness. So this is definitely would be a last resort. Now, as far as the big type of brain surgeries we have split brain surgeries, which basically means we're going to go in. We learn about this in AP that for severe types of epilepsy and seizure disorders, they will go in and surgically cut the corpus callosum, which is the brain structure that holds our 2 lobes together and allows them to communicate. We also can have a hemispherectomy, which basically means in certain types of rare neurological disorders, I think Rasmussen syndrome, which is kind of like a disease that eats the brain. They'll remove hemisphere or a side of the brain. So we had these surgeries that can be very, very complex and very extreme. But the idea is to remove the damaged part of the brain that is creating the illness, or at least separate it. Okay. So what we have done thanks to technology and advancements in medicine is we've developed what's called the probe. So instead of getting in the brain and removing large sections of it, or separating large sections of it, now we can, with technology, isolate the neurons that are creating the problem. And then what's going to happen is they're going to drill a hole in the head, and they stick this probe in there, and they can navigate it down to just the small area that's misfiring or that's creating the illness. And what they'll do is they'll burn it or lesion it, and just burn that part of it, pull the probe out, and then the person's good to go. So a much safer way, less invasive, if you will. There's great videos in there of Parkinson's disease where they can find the area of the brain that is creating the real severe tremors, and they actually stick the probe down in there, lesion and burn those parts, and then pull it out. And then the patient goes from having tremors to nothing while they're operating, and just burning that part. So, we still have some major psychosurgeries that we will use, but they're very, very rare. Because again, anytime you're operating on a huge section or part of the brain, whether you're trying to separate it or remove it or whatever, there's obviously complications are possible, death is possible. So the probe actually is kind of a huge savior, if you will, in psych medicine, because now we can just, in a very small invasive way compared to this, we can go down and we can also isolate the small parts. So we don't need to remove huge sections of the brain. We can find exactly in the brain, small area or the area which is the neurons are not working correctly, they're not firing correctly, or they're firing too much. And we can go down there, we can separate those from the rest of the brain by just burning and lesioning them and then pull it out. So much better way to do that, I would assume. Another credit to our medical field, our doctors, and just the advancements in technology, number one, that allows us to find those small, minute areas that are actually not functioning properly or the cause of the illness, and not just find it in a structure, but find it by itself, down to the neuron level, and then to be able to just kind of stick a probe down in there and just burn that part rather than taking out the whole area. Okay, so definitely you can see how anytime we're operating on the brain, it's obviously a vital, critical organ, so you have to be very careful there, and there are risks with doing that. So you can see why moving from here to here is actually a huge advantage medically. But again, this is last scenario. Again, in psychology, the medication side is growing so much, and so is the stimulation side. And so that's kind of what the two categories of biomedical treatment that are mainly used. And hopefully it stops there, and usually it does. It's only a small number of cases in which it needs to go to this. Okay, so that completes your psych treatment chart. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's going to have to be turned in with your psych disorder chart. So that is an assignment from this last chapter. So make sure you can just take pics of those and just send them to me. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. So I'll turn this over real quick. So this is just the back side of it. Okay. So here's the front side. Okay. That we've gone through over the last couple of weeks. Okay, so on the biomedical side, you have 1, medications, 2, which is your brain stimulation, and then we're adding 3 to that, which would be your psychosurgery. Okay, so you have your 6 types of therapy. You have 1 and 2 for biomedical, and then you have number 3, okay, which is psychosurgery. Okay, all right, and again, as we talked about, therapy is always the first option. That's where we like to go, bring healing there through the prescribed type of therapy technique. And then we move on to medication, then to brain stimulation, and then obviously worst case scenario, some of your more severe psychological disorders and dealing with psychosis, very dangerous type of behaviors, and then also neurological disorders. More probably so than anything, you're going to find the probe in psychosurgery. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's say goodbye to our special guests. Enjoy May the 4th, and email me if you have any questions. And then just make sure you get your assignments in by May the 12th. So again, what we would normally do in class is we'd cover the content, and then we'd have our vocab assignment, which is on there, and then you'd have time to work on your project in groups. So that's what the rest of this week is for. So you should already have your charts done. We did those in class together, so you can just email those to me, and then work on your vocab assignment and your project for psych treatments and psych disorders. And then I'll put the final, which will be a quiz over that chapter on Canvas soon. All right, if you have any questions on any of that, just let me know. Hope you guys are doing well.